When Helle Crafts went missing, the police asked her husband where she was. He said she was with her mother. Then he said she was with her sister. Then he said he didn't know. But when a snowplow driver saw him at the side of the road at night, next to a woodchipper, they began to ask questions. This is the story of Richard Crafts. Welcome to Enter the Dark. Hello and welcome to Enter the Dark. I am Jan. This is Leslie.
You alright?
How are you?
Yeah, I'm alright.
So guys, we hope you had a great Christmas and you're having a good New Year. If this is out before Christmas and the New Year by some miracle, still hope you have them.
Yeah, still, yeah. All that, raise a glass on the solstice.
All that good stuff.
Aye.
And nakedness on stones and moons.
Yeah, put a Tory in a wicker, man.
Yeah, set fire to the bastards. So then, tonight's tale is on the Woodchipper murders of Richard Crafts. Now, this is a good one, and obviously it's going to be a good murder if there's a woodchipper involved.
Oh, yeah, get us a bit Fargo.
A bit of Fargo way. We're not going to do the accents, because we've learnt where we don't know where Minnesota is.
No. Yeah, it's cold and snowy.
Sometimes it could be hot. We don't know. Oh, American geography is fucking terrible.
They've been getting snow, over there.
Where?
Near Iowa.
Okay. Because when you say over there, you realise America's
it's a fucking continent.
Vast place.
It's rather big.
It's like over there. Where? Alaska.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course it would.
Of course is it snowy all the time in Alaska?
Not when I watch Gold Rush Alaska, it's not.
Just kind of damp.
But they have permafrost and stuff. Anyway, enough about that. We have to say hello to our two patrons who have pledged our pledges to say hello live on the takes. I was going to say live on the air, but we're not live on the air. On the takes. So, hello to our good friend, Hannah Blue Harrington, and our very own Swiss guard, Swiss Phil Sigrist. Hello guys, thank you for supporting us. If you do wish to support us, you can do so also at patreon.com/enterthedark. Now, let's get into this one because it's got a woodchipper in it.
Woodchipper.
It's got woodchippers, deceit, Millhouse. Not got Millhouse.
Everything's coming up Millhouse.
So then, on December the 1st, 1986, the Newtown Police Department in central Connecticut received a phone call from Keith Mayo, a local private investigator. He said his client, Helle Crafts, had recently disappeared and he feared she may have been murdered by her husband, Richard Crafts. Mayo was adamant and insisted the Newtown Police investigate the crime immediately. Already I'm hungry. Because I keep hearing Crafts, so I'm thinking Kraft dinners, mac and cheese, and also mayo. And now I'm thinking chicken and mayo sandwich.
I just want to listen to Kraftwerk.
Why?
Kraft.
I know, yeah, but I was thinking you were going to say because she's a model and she's looking good. You could have done if you were more on the ball.
I could have done.
Or, you better get in your car now and hit the bar autobahn.
That was
fucking good I am. Anyway, so Mayo said that according to his information, Helle had left her home on November the 19th to drive to Richard's sister's house in nearby Westport. But Helle never showed up at the sister's home, hadn't been heard of since that day. Her car was later found in an employee parking lot at Pan Am Airlines and Kennedy Airport.
Oh, Pan Am.
Pan Am, that's a blast from the past.
Isn't it?
I had a Pan Am toy airplane when I was a kid. I also had a Pan Am t-shirt. I don't know where my dad got them from, but...
That's what's that Leo film?
Oh,
it's really good where he goes fucking nuts, doesn't he?
Yeah, when he plays Howard Hughes.
Yeah.
What the fuck is it called? The Aviator.
Is it The Aviator? Yeah, it's a good film.
It
good
is.
Film, that is.
You don't seem storing enough urine and faeces in jars, though, for my liking. Wearing tissue boxes on his feet.
No, there's not enough of that.
Anyway, so... Newtown detectives knew Richard Crafts very well. He was an auxiliary police officer in their department since 1982.
Auxiliary?
Auxiliary, so basically, not a real cop.
Like RPCSOs, is that what they're called?
No real powers. He was a familiar figure around the police station. He had a reputation as somewhat rigid patrolman who took his limited responsibilities very, very seriously.
Full-on Jobsworth.
Fucking Jobsworth, yeah.
It's like a male Karen.
Yeah, he fucking is. Yeah. Richard. Because Dick is short for Richard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when investigators interviewed Richard on December the 2nd, he confirmed that on the night before Helle disappeared, she was happy and showed no signs of being different or upset. He and his wife slept at home, and when they awoke that morning, Richard said the plan was for Helle to go to my sister's house in Westport because we had no power due to the storm. I have not seen or heard from my wife since Wednesday, November the 19th, 1986. I don't know why he would say 1986, because it was the year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But putting that in for context, my poor writing, I apologise. Initially, the police did not express too much concern over Helle Crafts' disappearance, since missing persons reports are not that rare. Excellent police work.
Excellent, yeah. Top notch.
A wife who leaves her husband could be having marital problems and needs some time alone. As a result, the Newtown Police Department did not prioritise Helle Crafts' case. But in the next few days, the nature and complexion of the case began to change.
Ooh.
Investigators interviewed friends of Crafts' family, which included neighbours and Helle's co-workers. Virtually all of them agreed on one aspect of her disappearance. Helle was a devoted mother who had never left her small children in the manner described. Friends also told the police that Richard Crafts had a series of extramarital affairs which were all well known, and that Helle had recently discovered that Richard had one girlfriend in New Jersey who he had been seeing for years. Before Helle disappeared, she had told several people that she wanted to divorce her husband as soon as possible. The plot thickens.
Oh, like a stew, a big, thick, meaty stew.
Dick's been dipping his dick.
In the stew. Meaty dick.
You're referring to a woman's vagina as a meaty stew.
I'm just hungry.
Police also learned that Richard had offered several different versions of what had happened to his wife. He had told a neighbour that Helle had made a trip to Germany and would be returning home soon. He told others that he didn't know where she was. On November the 21st, just 2 days after her disappearance, he told Dawn Thomas, the family au pair, that Helle had to fly to Denmark because her mother was ill. She will be back November the 24th, he said. On November the 29th, another friend, Lena Johansson, obtained Helle's mother's phone number in Denmark and called her. Her mother was not in the hospital and was in good health, and she did not expect to see Helle until the following April.
All right.
So, her mother is in Denmark. She knows not where she is.
She knows not where she is?
Yeah, I just felt like saying that.
I know not where she is.
I know not where she is.
It's the Swedish.
That's Swedish, yeah. What the Danes do?
I think it's similar. They all seem to have a similar dialect.
Whoa.
I don't mean like that.
Racist.
They're all blonde-haired and blue-eyed.
You fucking massive racist. Why don't you say, they're all there with their horns, hats on with horns, aren't they?
Yeah, with the pigtail.
Raping and pillaging.
Yeah, with their boats, their Viking boats.
Fucking racist. Upset by this new information, Lena Johansson went to the police. She told them the disturbing statement made by Helle to her in November. If anything happens to me, Helle had said, don't assume it was an accident. So, Helle. Not the place, but the person. Helle Lork Nielsen was an only child, born in Denmark on July the 7th, 1947. She'd spent her childhood in a small village in the north of Denmark. Helle was adept in learning languages quickly. During her teen years, she learned French and English and was also able to understand German, Norwegian and Swedish. She attended college in England and later worked as an au pair in France.
An au pair?
I don't know why, I'm thinking, got the hots for Helle. Speak all these different languages, linguistic tongue. She's an au pair in France.
Whenever I think of au pairs, I think of scandals. I don't know why.
My ex-girlfriend was an au pair. In Austria, she lost the kids on a tram and had to run along a tram to get them because the kids ran off from her.
How long did she spend being an au pair?
A few months, and then they agreed to
part ways.
Yeah, she didn't like it, and they didn't like her.
I mean, it's a bit extreme, though. Like, oh, don't like me, do you? Then fuck them. I'm leaving your kids on a tram.
No, she didn't do it. The kids were arguing with her because they didn't want to go to the shops or something. So they ran and got on this tram, and it went. So she had to run alongside this tram, and they got off in the next station.
Sorry, but that's dead fucking inept. No offence to her if she's listening. Does she listen?
I don't think she does.
Good. She's fucking inept. That's inept. I know. Well, fuck you then. We're getting on this tram. Bye. No, you won't. Oh, shit.
Martha, if you're listening, I'm sorry. Not really.
Martha, you
Thank
shit.
You shit old pair. Fuck you.
Shit pair. Shit pair.
Anyway, by the time Helle was 20, she was a beautiful young woman. Her high cheekbones, long blonde hair, trim figure, and warm, engaging smile turned the heads of men whenever she entered a room. While Helle was living in France, she got a job as a stewardess with Capital Airways. When she heard that Pan Am Airways was looking for stewardesses in Copenhagen, she applied for the job. She was one of 8 candidates selected out of a group of 200 and was sent to Miami for her training courses. She must be loving Miami. Going from like cold Copenhagen to Miami. Load of Cubans there drinking round her. Going, hey senorita.
Now who's the racist?
I'm just my Razor Ramon impression.
Was he a Cuban?
It was apparently he was a like Cuban descent Floridian.
Oh, right, okay. I just thought he was like, an accidental murderer.
No, Scott Hall wasn't a racist. He was many things, a drunk.
A murderer.
He probably was racist at some point.
Yeah, that murder was accidental, though.
What murder?
Killed somebody. Scott
Hall did?
Yeah, he was a bouncer, and he, like, in self-defence, pulled a gun and shot somebody. I think he got... I'm not sure if he got convicted or it went down as manslaughter, but yeah, he killed somebody.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, like, look that up. I don't even know that much about wrestling, dude, but yeah. Like, that was the thing that...
You know that in Chris Benoit.
Yeah, I know that in Chris Benoit. I just, like... My relationship with wrestling is that I like looking up all the shit. Like, I mean, fucking hell, I was creaming when, like, fucking Hulk Hogan did his racism.
Oh, I was as well. Everyone was.
Yeah, I love wrestling controversy. It's like I'm a slut for that shit.
Oh, you need reading Bret Hart's book.
Oh, fuck, I'm all over that.
That book, honestly, it's literally all it is. I didn't want to cheat on my wife, but I was lonely. That's literally it.
Who did he cheat on?
Fucking everybody! Everybody in every country and every fucking
Who was
town.
that? Who was the female wrestler at, like, the time?
Oh, Sonny.
Sonny, yeah.
No, apparently he never slept with her. He said he never slept with her.
Never slept with Sonny.
She said she never slept with him. She slept with British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith, and that's why Shawn Michaels got pissed off with her.
Right, okay.
But she was very close to the Hart family. She knew the Hart family handshake and that. Bret Hart thought she was a lovely woman and she used to love his kids.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Because Bret got really pissed off. Like, that was one of the bone of contentions, like, why him and Shawn Michael didn't get on.
Yeah, when he said Bret's been having a lot of sunny days.
Yeah. Anyway.
To be fair, sunny in 97, you would.
Oh, God, yeah. God, yeah.
Not now.
Yeah.
Have you seen that video, Sunny Side Up?
Yeah, it's...
It's not good. She farts while they're having sex.
Which kind, though?
No, bum kind.
Oh, not the funny...
No, not fanny fart.
Queefs are funny. Because, like, queef, it's funny because of what it is, but it also sounds funny, doesn't it? Queef.
We've gone off on a tangent.
Anyway, sorry about that, folks. Yeah,
so she's in Miami.
Yeah.
Since she had prior experience in the field, it was easy for her to finish in her first in her class. During the time she stayed in Miami, she lived in a small motel near the airport. Bet that was seedy as fuck.
I bet it was, yeah.
It was neat and comfortable, and usually populated by airline employees, stewardesses and pilots. Probably not seedy then. Living under the same roof with male co-workers, stewardesses often had romantic liaisons. Definitely seedy then, they were all fucking.
Oh, yeah.
You walk through the room and you got, like, stewardesses, like, fucking pilots everywhere. You're stepping over them, game like, sorry, can you just move your arse off that sink? I just need a drink of water. Thank you. Yeah, I'll hold your leg up there for you. There you go.
That's it. Let me show you my big propeller.
You'd have to bring it down, didn't you? You had to bring it down to the level of the gutter snipe.
We were already at the level of the gutter snipe.
I was describing what would be an airline orgy, and then you had to bring in a childlike double entendre.
I did. That's why you have me on this show. That and my rapey eyes. Apparently people really hate the rapey eyes, don't they?
I don't think they hate. I think they're scared of your rape eyes. In the artwork that I'm having done for us, somebody said, can you send me the picture of Les with the rape eyes, please, so I can get them properly?
It's like I bore deep within somebody and run my knob up and down their rib cage. It's fucking mint.
Playing it like a fucking xylophone, like doing a Patrick Moore on that fucker.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Wait. Again.
So yeah. The stewardesses and the pilots were fucking. She didn't tell you intimate things about men she saw, said one friend. She was far too cautious to have been promiscuous, but she had a few lovers.
A few?
Yeah, a few lovers at one time.
Yeah.
She was like getting fueled up on every old... Wow.
Fueled up!
Single stewardesses, like the airline pilots, as both future mates or just for a good time while they were on a layover. This isn't so much true crime so far as the plot of a fucking late night softcore porn starring Shannon Tweed.
Yeah, it is.
On May 24th, 1969, while Helle was waiting at the motel for a flight, she met Richard Crafts, who was 31 at the time, and her life would never be the same again. In the spring of 69, so close to the summer.
So close. Not quite, though.
He didn't have his first real six-string yet. Richard Crafts was a young and somewhat scruffy-looking airline pilot who wore his dark brown hair in an unkempt style that some women found appealing.
What a hippie.
And that wig makes him look like one of the Beatles. Being rough around the edges, he did not fit the stereotypical image of a pilot. So he's like a bad boy, ain't he?
He's a maverick.
He's a bad boy. No woman can tame him, but I want to try. He was just 5'8" with a medium frame. He seemed rather ordinary, but there was a certain attractiveness about him. So Crafts at 31 never seemed to be without a woman. He dated stewardesses almost exclusively and sometimes told extravagant stories about his past, which included an ill-defined role in the CIA and alleged combat in Indochina.
Alleged combat?
Alleged. He's like, I had combat in Indochina, did you? Allegedly. Martini. All pilots drink martinis. And he's like, may I have your olive? Would you like to see my fuselage? Lower the landing gear.
Can't you see I'm winging it? Shut the fuck up.
What you should have said then was, this is my friend David. He's my wingman. Leave the smooth talking to me. You just sit there with the rape eyes. Anyway, so, Richard Crafts, he was born in New York City, yo! On December 20th, 1937, one of 3 children, he had 2 older sisters. His father, John, was a successful businessman and provided his family with everything they could wish for. Although Richard attended private school, he didn't excel. He later graduated from Darien High School without distinction. He tried college for a time but soon dropped out and suddenly joined the Marines in 1956. So he was sitting there eating dinner and then went, I've joined the Marines, and ran away. That's suddenly.
This was very sudden.
It was very sudden. In the military, he gravitated toward aviation and became proficient at flying helicopters. He trained on fixed-wing aircraft and quickly became certified as a pilot in the late 50s.
He's done his fair share of helicoptering.
In 1958, Richard was transferred to Korea and Japan. During his time there, he also flew planes for Air America, an organisation which was recognised branch of the CIA, and not just a film starring Charlie Sheen and I think it was Emilio Estevez, his brother. Air America.
I've not seen that.
I think it was. If it wasn't, I will put in now how much of a dick I am. Apparently, Crafts flew a number of clandestine missions in Southeast Asia, which included assignments in Laos and Vietnam. Though it is difficult to state with any certainty his activities during this time, Dr. Henry C. Lee writes in his book, Cracking Cases, that Crafts was wounded during a flying mission over Laos. He remained in the Far East for a number of years, flying for Air America, and eventually returned to the United States in 1966. As a pilot, he had little trouble finding work for the next few years, and he flew for a variety of outfits until he finally secured a pilot's job in 1968 with Eastern, then one of America's largest and busiest airlines. When he met Helle in 1969, he was already engaged to someone else. But Helle, she didn't seem to mind. Hang on. She was like, oh, he's got girlfriends in New Jersey, I want to divorce him. Yet when she got with him, she was like, I don't mind if you're engaged to someone to be married.
It's hypocritical.
It is.
But it's better being a hypocrite than being the same person all of your life. Welcome to my TED Talk. Carry on.
Les has a lot of trouble with people. She continued to see him despite his relationship with other women. They maintained an on-again, off-again relationship for the next few years. They frequently fought, sometimes in public, but somehow they always wound up together. Hal's friends were suspicious of Crafts and showed some open hostility towards him. Most of her friends could not understand Hal's attraction to Crafts when it was so obvious she could have any man that she wanted. In 1975, Helle became pregnant with Crafts' child, and in November of that year, they married in New Hampshire. The following year, they bought a one-level ranch home in the city of Newtown, Connecticut, and Helle had her first child, and over the next few years, she had 2 more children. Afterwards, she returned to her job as a stewardess and hired an au pair, Dawn Marie Thomas, 19, to care for the children. Richard continued his job as an airline pilot and was frequently away from home. Obviously, because he's a pilot, you can't work from home doing that, can you?
No.
So, together their income exceeded $125,000 a year, an amount that put them in the top 5% of wage earners in America in the 1980s.
Wowee.
Fucking hell.
Bloody hell. I mean, wow. They're flying high, aren't they?
Yeah, well, Richard managed all the finances in the family, and it enabled him to spend a great deal of money on his favourite passion, guns.
Guns?
A beautiful Forsaken sky, a land of liberty, America, America. Sorry.
I think I just squirted.
You know, I'm guns, I'm American. By God, from my cold dead hands, you can take my guns.
Yeah, stop the King of England getting in again.
Yeah. He'd already built an arsenal of weapons while single, but after he purchased a home, he finally had the space to store his collection. He owned several shotguns and dozens of handguns, including 9mm automatics, 44 caliber revolvers, 357 magnums, high-powered rifles, semi-automatic weapons, crossbows, hand grenades, and thousands of rounds of ammunition.
What on earth why would a civilian need hand grenades? I mean, I know blowing shit up is fun.
Apparently, it was enough to arm 50 men.
Jesus Christ. But what are you possibly going to need hand grenades for? You ain't throw one at a bear, are you? I mean, you might. Take this fucking poo.
Look, if you've got a bear that looks like he's going like, going to kill you, or you've got a hand grenade, you pull that pin and you throw it at that fucker.
But surely, like, you're not going to go on a hunting trip and take fucking hand grenades with you, is what I'm saying.
Maybe you want to go hand grenade fishing. He's like, want to go fishing, but he's like, can't be arsed with all this waiting around, so he just lobs an hand grenade and
why don't you just use dynamite? That's like what they use.
He didn't have dynamite, he had hand grenades.
But why didn't he get dynamite?
Because he wanted hand grenades.
He's just not thought this
They
through.
look cooler. You can't pull, like, with dynamite, you can't pull a pin out with your teeth, can you?
No, but if you're going fishing with dynamite, you're going to get more fish. Because, like, the way grenades work, you, like, throw it, they explode, and then all the shrapnel, like, it's anti-personnel, it's not anti-fish.
Well, if the shrapnel hit fish, it'd be anti-fish.
But it's a smaller target, is what I'm saying.
Have you seen the size of some of them fish? Like fucking lake bass?
I mean, it has to be, like, a big fucking bass, doesn't it? Like,
a big mouth bass? They're huge.
A big bass.
Get a fucking big carp.
Big carp, yeah.
Huge.
But like, you don't, generally speaking, get carp the size of a human being.
I think you've been looking at the wrong carp.
Let's
Anyway.
not be coy about it.
Yeah, let's stop carping on. He spent hours each week tending to the collection, cleaning, polishing and arranging his armament. Whenever there was a gun show in Connecticut or New Jersey, he would browse the aisles and spend more money on weapons, adding to his expanding armoury.
I really would like to go to one of these gun shows.
I would, just to see like the really crazy people who were there. You know, the ones who are like, if you attach this to your gun, and you've now got a fucking nuclear missile.
How to arm your mobility scooter.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Shit like that. You know, sign a petition with like, the commies are trying to take our guns. Goddamn, they ain't taking my guns off me. Sign this. And you're like, this is for free healthcare. Goddamn communist socialist motherfuckers. And you're like, okay. I just want to go see those crazy gun nuts.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Sorry if you are one of those crazy gun nuts. We don't get them in England.
No, we don't even... Do we have tasers over here? I think we even have tasers, do we?
I saw one on Wish. I could order.
That's going to be a shit taser. Or it's going to be a very dangerous taser. Like, oh, they're dead.
It was only like £5. Maybe I should order it and get it in like 8 months.
£5, but it put 5,000 volts through them.
Bring me my tea cold. Anyway, that was... But there was already trouble in the marriage aside from Richard's fascination with guns. Helle appeared in several public places with bruises on her face. One of her friends later told police that Helle was physically abused by her husband. This same friend also said Helle was deeply hurt by the way Richard treated her during her first pregnancy, and she would never forgive Richard for what he put her through. This friend's a bit of a snitch, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, she's away. Oh, she might be dead. Oh, better dish all the dirt. He probably said, take this to your grave, my friend.
Right fucking grass.
I know, yeah. After the children were born, Richard would disappear for days at a time and never say where he was. He would simply pack his bags and leave. I'm gonna guess flying a plane, because it's kind of his job.
Where are you going? I don't know. I'll find out when I look at my rotor.
To Indochina. Several days later, he would return. Helle never knew if he was away on business, at a gun show, or somewhere else. Since he controlled all the money in the family, he made Helle pay for all the house expenses while he spent money on anything he pleased. He brought a variety of landscaping equipment, tractors, mowers, and a $25,000 backhoe which he never used.
What is a backhoe?
I do not know what a backhoe is.
We don't know. We never looked this up because this is the second go at recording this.
Yeah, the mic fucked up like weeks ago when we recorded this. So we're doing this again after forgetting everything that was in here because we've done stuff since. And we still don't know what a backhoe was.
Yeah, so stick it in the comments because it's doubtful that we'll look it up.
If anyone knows
backhoe.
I don't know, is it like sort of like a side hoe? Like, this is my side hoe. My back hoe. This is my main hoe. No, it could be like your bottom bitch.
Yeah, or it could be an implement used for leaves.
I reckon it's something that you put on the back of a tractor, like a hoe, and then you hoe the ground behind you. Like a big fucking hoe thing.
What, like a plough?
Yeah, but it's called a backhoe.
I just call it a plough.
Because it's different.
A back plough.
Because it's different, innit? You love a fucking back plough.
Back plough.
Anyway, his front yard was a mishmash of rusting, broken machines and considered an eyesore by his neighbours. Always seemed like the Crafts house where either needed work or repairs were being done. In 1982, he became an auxiliary police officer in Newtown. Although he was not paid for his time with the police department, he took his job very, very seriously.
Very seriously.
He would hang around the police station and even when he was off duty and sometimes respond to police calls without authorisation. In 1986...
I got this. Yeah,
it's alright guys, I've got this. And they're like, it's a kitten stuck up a tree. I've got it! Gets his gun out. It's okay, I shot the branch. Did you ever hear about that guy in America who shot a bald eagle out of a tree because it was stuck by using a machine gun to fucking machine gun the branch off?
Did he hit the eagle?
No, he just fucking shot the branch off like...
That's quite impressive.
Honestly, nothing else makes me want to sit there going, USA! USA!
That is the most American... If he did that while eating a burger, like, that is the most American rescue I've ever heard.
I mean, I read it and I thought, I've never read anything that screams, my God, that says violently American before in my life.
It's so aggressively American, isn't it?
Yeah.
You ever hear about that guy who shot an armadillo and it ricocheted? This says
yes.
for armadillos. And it fucking ricocheted off.
Yeah.
And hit him. My personal favourite, like, comedy gun incident from the US, though, is that guy who was having a fucking prostate exam. You heard about
No.
this? So, this guy was having a prostate exam, and he came whilst having a prostate exam, got so offended and fucking disgusted at himself, he shot the fucking doctor. Luckily, the doctor fucking survived.
Holy shit!
Like, apparently it happens, like, quite often, because it's like, you know, it's the male G, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
But, like, fucking, yeah. He was that fucking angered and enraged by his involuntary ejaculation.
I really didn't like his fingers up my head. Oh God, Jesus, no, please forgive me.
Fucking pulsing. But yeah, so that's our brief foray into hilarious American gun things.
USA! USA!
USA!
In 1986, he was hired as a police officer in the nearby town of Southbury. His salary was $7 an hour, right? He paid his own way for expensive training seminars and gave instructions on police procedures. Crafts performed his police duties with a strange fervour and even purchased a 1985 Ford Crown Victoria, which was the same type of car the Connecticut State Police used.
Oh, he got his own police car.
He outfitted it at his own cost with multiple radios, antennas, police lights and a siren. What a fucking nerd! He's like literally cosplayed as a fucking policeman.
I'm a real policeman. You're not, though.
It's like when you get your kids those like plastic police cars that they sit in and pedal and they go around going, I'm a policeman, I'm gonna arrest you. You're like, oh no, better keep away from little Tommy over here. It's fucking hell. You're in your 40s, man.
Little Tommy did come a cropper with them drug lords, though.
Oh, yeah.
That was mistaken identity, but
Spread
it was
his face across that windshield. Anyway, during all this time, from the year he was married right until 1986, Richard continued to see other women. Hal was aware of his infidelity, but tolerated it. Perhaps for the sake of the children. Not little Tommy. Maybe to keep up appearances. You okay there?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Just that image. That got really fucking dark.
Little Tommy's head smeared across the windshield.
Of his little fucking car.
You rode into the wrong entryway, copper. And he's like, don't my mummy, I love her. Oh. He dies there with his fucking binky in his hand.
Water pistol in the other. Little plastic fucking sheriff's badge. Just cracked and broken over his mutilated body.
Oh God, we're going to hell. Oh. Anyway, their marriage was in trouble.
The marriage, right.
And Hal knew it. And she openly spoke about divorce with several of her friends. But not little Tommy. No longer Tommy.
Remember. Never forget little Tommy.
Hashtag never forget. In the summer of 1986, she retained a divorce attorney and later hired a private detective named Keith Mayo, a former Connecticut cop, to gather evidence against Richard. When the detectives interviewed Dawn Marie Thomas, the Crafts au pair, she told investigators several important details about the Crafts household. On the morning of November 19th, Crafts suddenly awakened her at 6 a.m. and said Hal was driving to his sister's house in Westport and they would meet her there later. She thought that was strange since Newtown had been hit with a severe winter storm during the night and visibility was very, very poor. Because of a power failure, Richard insisted on taking the children to his sister's house right away. He woke up his 3 children at 6:30 a.m, loaded them into the family car with Dawn Thomas and drove over to his sister's house. Richard dropped off the kids and Dawn and left almost immediately. Hal was not at his sister's house, even though she supposedly left before Richard. Dawn told investigators that Richard did not return to pick them up until later that day at 7 p.m. Hal did not appear at his sister's house still. Later that night, Dawn asked Richard where Hal was and he said, "I don't know." The next day when she asked Richard the same question again, he said, "She's in Denmark with her sick mother." Dawn also told investigators she noticed the first time that pieces of the carpet were cut out and missing from the master bedroom.
Oh, wow.
I've got a feeling he's lying.
Yeah.
Richard told her he'd spilled kerosene on the rug and they needed to be replaced.
Likely story. What are you doing with kerosene in the fucking bedroom?
There's no power, so he's filling up kerosene lamps.
Oh, okay. No,
Yeah.
That's fair. Stop trying to defend him.
I'm not, I'm just coming up with an alibi.
Okay.
Their suspicions aroused that Newtown police requested Crafts submit to a lie detector test. He agreed and he passed the test on December the 4th. One investigator wrote in his report that based on the polygraph examinations and my numerous conversations with Mr. Crafts, he does not know where his wife is. Despite the results of the test, however, some detectives believed otherwise. There was something odd about a professional airline pilot who liked to play cop part-time, who rode around in a phony police car and took jobs as a security guard for a few dollars an hour. There is something a bit odd with that, isn't there?
There is something very odd with that. That's not normal.
I mean, if you're going to my wife murderer, I'm going to say either rapist or paedophile.
Yeah. Or just somebody who's very bored and lacks any creativity.
Detectives also listened to Hal's friends who called constantly demanding to know the progress of the investigation. Statements from Dawn Thomas, Joe Hansen, and other cast serious doubts on Kraft's story of his wife's disappearance. Kraft's behaviour since November 19th had been, at very least, questionable and unusual. Questionable and unusual for a guy who fucking made his own cop car and bought a $25,000 backhoe. But there was no direct evidence that anything criminal had happened to Hal. She had simply vanished. Detectives decided to call Richard Crafts back for another interview. On December the 11th, they located Crafts on duty at the Southbury Police Department where he was working the night shift, cornholing a drunk. Newtown detectives called Southbury and asked that they send over Officer Crafts for further questioning.
What is cornholing?
Anal sex.
Oh.
Your face then, you're like, oh. He arrived at the detective division in full uniform at 9:20 p.m. Lieutenant Michael DeJoseph and Detective Robert Tvarzik had already prepared some questions and conducted the interview. According to police reports, this is how it went. Richard, did you know that your wife hired a private investigator? No. Did you know that the PI has documented your relationship with the New Jersey woman? Nope. Why would your wife tell her friends that she was afraid for herself regarding serving you divorce paper and tell them to check on her if something happened? I cannot imagine her saying this. It's completely out of character for her to say this. On November 18th, when Helle came home, when and why did she leave? Those answers are in my statement. What is the story with your bedroom rug? Apparently you removed it or cut some pieces out. Can you explain this to me? All the rugs in the house have been removed and replaced. What was being spilled on your rug in your bedroom? Kerosene. Did you cut out pieces of the rug? Yes. 2 feet at a time. Easier to remove it that way. What did you do with the rug you took out of your bedroom? Dumped the bedroom rug in Newtown landfill 1 week ago. It was blue in colour. Why have you been telling everyone different things about Helle being missing? Like her mother being sick? I didn't want to say my wife was gone, and I did not know where she was. Has Helle received any mail since she'd been missing? Nope, she got no letters since she left. She usually gets about 2 letters a week. But, I'd like to say that, yes, I know they were Texan accents, but I'm limited. You heard my Australian. Anyway, whatever the police asked, Crafts had an answer. His demeanour seemed cooperative yet guarded. Again, he was not caught in any outright lies. They were just like half-truths. So you can't really convict on someone for half-truths. And then, for a man whose wife had suddenly and inexplicably vanished, he seemed rather apathetic. He was released after providing cops with a brief one-page statement that was less than helpful. He was just like, don't know where she is.
Like, yep,
nope,
don't know.
Detectives were left with even more questions than before, but they were becoming more convinced that whatever happened to Helle Crafts, somehow, in some way, Richard Crafts had something to do with it. Since the first day that he found out his former client Helle Crafts was missing, Keith Mayo immediately thought Richard Crafts was responsible. He met with friends and attorneys and solicited their opinions on the case. After a review of events surrounding her disappearance and Richard's reaction to it, they too agreed that he acted in a suspicious manner. They could not understand why Richard would offer so many different explanations of what happened to Helle. Mayo decided that he needed evidence to convince police, who seemed unenthusiastic about the case. When he learnt that Richard Crafts cut out pieces of his discarded bedroom rug and put them in a local dump, Mayo decided to search for pieces which he felt could contain blood evidence. Mayo discovered that Newtown's garbage was deposited in Canterbury Dump, about 2 hours east of Newtown. He recruited a few helpers, and for the next several days he searched through the mountains of trash at the dump. Knee-deep in household garbage, the team searched and eventually they succeeded in locating a portion of the rug that was nearly identical to the rug at the Crafts' residence. Mayo was sure it was the missing piece, and the rug also had stains that appeared to be human blood. The article was taken to the State Police Laboratory in Meriden, led by one of the country's foremost forensic scientists, Dr. Henry C. Lee.
Henry C. Lee?
No, C. Lee.
Henry C. Lee.
Yeah,
Not
Dr.
like
Henry Cletus Lee.
Henry Cletus Lee. So not like Robert E. Lee.
No, like... Yeah. Exactly like that.
Do you like the Civil War?
Do you like films about gladiators?
Yeah.
You ever seen a grown man naked? In the meantime, the press finally caught on to the story about the missing suburban housewife. On December 17th, the Danbury News-Times published the first story on the case under the headline, Police Seek Missing Newtown Woman. At this point, we consider this to be a missing person case, Newtown Police Chief Louis Marchese told reporters. But Keith Mayo told the same reporter, I don't think she disappeared on her own accord. He also challenged the Newtown Police when he said, I'm concerned they are going after this piecemeal. Pressure was building for tangible results on the case. The Newtown Police were being criticised on several fronts, and the state's attorney's office wanted jurisdiction handed over to the state police. But the investigation received another setback when Dr. Lee reported his findings on Mayo's rug samples from the Canterbury dump. After 4 hours of back-breaking work carried out on the carpet, how could it be that back-breaking?
They were only 2 foot squares.
Yeah, and...
Or rectangles.
It's sort of like, if he's bending over, like, doing it, it's like, oh, my back, it's breaking.
Like...
It's not like he's lifting up fucking
He's not
rocks.
done it at the skip either, has he? Like,
No.
Surely it's been brought to the forensic place.
Yeah.
Fucking get your shit together, C. Lee.
Yeah, Dr. Lee.
To Lee.
Anyway, none of the stains tested positive for blood. Mayo's dogged pursuit of evidence, however, had another and unanticipated result. It focused even more attention on the case, which seemed to be floundering at the hands of the Newtown Police. Hal's friends also kept up a non-stop campaign of calling the police for updates in the investigation. I bet they fucking hated them.
I bet you they did. I bet you they were like,
So-
it's them fuckers again.
It's like, bring. Hello, Newtown Police. Any update on that case? No. Bring. Hello, Newtown Police. Any update on that case? No. Bring. Newtown Police. Help, I'm being raped! No. That's what had happened.
That is what had happened.
You know, or it could be like, any update on that case?
Did you say Hal? No, I said help, I'm being raped. I heard Hal.
Yeah. Or it could be like a totally unrelated case where they've got evidence and like, yep, you got to drink some milk in the next 5 minutes or you're going to die. Nobody died from not drinking milk. Well, they could have done, I don't know.
If they were lactose intolerant, if they hadn't drunk milk, they'd be alright. The fuck was I going with?
I don't know, you're just some sort of retard. Anyway, as a result, the State Attorney's Office decided the investigation will be handled in total by state police investigators. Detectives from the Western District Major Crimes Unit began to look deeper into Crafts' activities immediately before Helle's disappearance. They pulled his credit card purchases and phone records for the month prior to November 19th. On his MasterCard credit bills, investigators found several interesting purchases. On November the 13th, he bought a large-capacity Westinghouse freezer at an appliance store in Danbury. He paid $375 for it and picked it up at the store on November the 17th. During the same billing period, detectives noticed he rented some type of machinery at Darian Rentals, which generated a charge of $900. Why did Crafts need such an outsized freezer in his house, they wondered? And what type of machinery costs so much to rent?
Why not just buy it?
'Cause he wants to rent it.
Surely it's got to be really expensive, like if the rental costs. Or is it just like a one-time payment of $900? It's not like, oh, it's $900 a week.
I don't know. I don't work there.
Well, no, but like...
Look, he's spunked $25,000 on a backhoe he's not used yet. He's probably like, am I going to use this Woodchipper after? I don't know. Better rent it first.
Spoiler alert there.
Yeah, why?
Well,
I said he's rented a Woodchipper. Everyone knows it's called the Woodchipper murders.
Yeah, I know, but we said he'd rented machinery.
They know, they've put it... This lot are clever.
I know this lot are clever, but I don't know, I just think...
Hush your gums. For days, police put together a search warrant for Crafts' residence at 5 Newfield Lane, and on Christmas Day 1986, they finally got their wish. In the 11...
Yay! It's like a Christmas miracle.
It was. In the 11-page affidavit, detectives Quatiro and Byrne listed dozens of supporting facts to strengthen their beliefs of why a search should be conducted at the Crafts' home. Prominent among these were Richard Crafts' ever-changing statements to Helle's friends concerning her disappearance and his actions the night of the 19th. He had even told one friend Helle was in the Canary Islands with her best friend Helen Dixon. Police discovered that Richard Crafts had taken his children to Florida for the holidays, so it was the best time to execute their warrant. Dr. Henry Lee agreed to be present and oversee the collection of evidence. On the afternoon of Christmas Day, a team of state police investigators and crime scene technicians entered the premise of 5 Newfield Lane through a back window. Why not go through the door?
No one was in, were they?
They're police, they can pick locks.
I don't know, maybe that's just overly dramatic now that you frame it like that.
Yeah, isn't it? What they found anyway was an empty house, completely in disarray. Furniture was strewn about, dirty clothes lay everywhere, dishes and kitchen utensils were unwashed in the sink and on countertops. Mattresses lay bare on the floor in the living room along with boxes of toys and other items. The carpets were pulled up and discarded. During the search, dozens of weapons were located and tagged. For any one of these could have been the gun that killed Helle Crafts? Yeah. For the next few days, the search team went over every inch of the Crafts home and eventually seized 108 pieces of evidence according to the search inventory. The evidence included several Smith & Wesson .357 revolvers, a few .38 caliber revolvers, a Colt Python .38 caliber pistols, Ruger carbine rifles, finished semi-automatic weapons, 12-gauge pump shotguns, Winchester rifles, Beretta handguns with clips, 380 automatic handguns, 2 hand grenades, Beretta crossbow, Walter PPK handgun, 2 9mm semi-automatic handguns, a Helle Crafts .45 caliber pistol, an over and under style universal shotgun, numerous clips and an assortment of ammunition.
It's an over and under.
I don't know.
It's like one of them, where it's like...
You go over and under?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, I need to look that up. Sounds cool.
Like the one Terminator had where you go, pull it out, and like...
Yeah.
Yeah, could be.
Like, you know, he does like the thing where he reloads it by spinning it. It's fucking boss.
Americans, let us know. Because you obviously all know everything about...
Because you all love guns.
Yeah.
Now, we're being very racist.
You'll be racist, I'm just assuming. Anyway, also seized were hand towels, washcloths, fibre samples and a king-size mattress with bedding. Dr. Lee performed a luminol test in the various locations throughout the house, which tested positive for the presence of blood. Hope it didn't hurt his back too much.
I hope so too.
Take your time there, Dr. Lee. Some of the seized towels also later tested positive for blood at the state laboratory. Further, the blood was O-type O positive, the same as Hal's.
Not negative then.
No, that was his girlfriend's girlfriend.
No blood.
Oh, did you get it? Do you know what colour the towel was? Black number 1. Typo negative there for you, goths.
Yeah.
My girlfriend's girlfriend is my girlfriend too.
Oh,
but despite he was in Playgirl.
Yeah.
But despite the overwhelming amount of evidence seized, they still had no viable answer to where she was. Things happened very quickly over that next week. Investigators learned that the $900 charge on Crafts MasterCard at Darien Rentals was payment for a Woodchipper. Told you. Crafts had rented and picked up a very large Woodchipper called a Brush Bandit on November the 19th and apparently used it to chip a quantity of wood.
A quantity?
A quantity.
It's a big Brush Bandit.
Then on the afternoon of December 30th, 1986, Detectives Patrick McCafferty and T.K. Brown, members of the Western District Major Crime Squad, located Joseph Hine, a utility man from Southbury, who was ploughing snow on River Road during a storm. They listened to the story about observing a woodchipper in a U-Haul parked on the side of the road in the middle of the night. At about 3:30 a.m, Hine was ploughing along the length of the River Road until he came to the intersection of South Flat Hill Road. As soon as he passed the intersection, Hine saw a truck parked off the side of the road. I would describe the vehicle as a U-Haul van, box van, 1-to-1 ton with dual wheels, he later said to the detectives. The box of the van was an off-white or dirty white, square type. The cap was orange coloured. Not the brightest peanut in the turd, is he? Its lights were off and roll-up back was closed. As he got closer, Hine saw that the truck had a large wood chipper attached to the back. The chipper seemed old and well used. Just as he passed the U-Haul, he saw a man standing near the driver's door who suddenly began to walk to the rear of the truck. The man motioned for Hine to pass him, which he did. Hine continued to plough down River Road. 2 hours later at 5:30 a.m, Hine ploughed River Road from the opposite direction. As he passed the Glen Road area, he saw the same U-Haul with the attached wood chipper once again. I didn't see anyone in or around the truck or chipper, he told investigators. But as he passed it, Hine noticed something different. The back of the box was open, he later said, and I could see some wood chips inside. He also saw some wood chips on the shoulder of the road. Hine continued to plough as he watched the U-Haul slowly disappear in his rearview mirror. Detectives drove Hine over to the shores of the Housatonic River just outside of Southbury. Hine pointed out to the exact spot where he observed the truck was towing a wood chipper. It was an area of the river known as Lake Zor. But cool. Zor.
Zor.
There is no Dana, only Zor.
Zor.
I know it's Zor before anyone calls me out on it. Detectives saw a pile of wood chips along the banks of the river. They seemed to be small pieces of green plastic substance strewn about and intermingled with the chips. Detective Brown got down on his hands and knees and sifted through some material. See, Dr. Lee? He doesn't say that's backbreaking, does he? He just did it. The detective noticed some scraps of shredded paper partially covered by the debris. He managed to find a few pieces of mail. Through a little plastic cellophane window on an envelope, he could plainly read the name and address. Miss Helle Crafts, 5 Newfield Lane, Newtown, Connecticut.
It's not a very good wood chipper, is it?
It chipped wood, just not paper. Did what it said on the tin, didn't it?
Yeah, but you would have thought that would have, like, fucking destroyed, like, mail.
It depends, doesn't it, how it's destroying them.
Yeah, I guess so. Don't send a wood chipper to do a shredder's work.
Exactly. He shouted to his partner, "Something's definitely wrong here."
Somebody's been putting their mail in a wood chipper.
That's not what it's for. You need a shredder. Yeah. Look, I can read her name and address. It's the shredder's job, not a chipper.
This has got, like, identity theft written all over it.
Like, whose is it? I don't know. Isn't that the person we're looking for? Yeah. Yep, but still, something's wrong here. Didn't use the chipper. Within an hour, a search team from police headquarters descended upon the scene. They hastily set up a perimeter and performed an organised search of the potential crime scene. Every inch of the ground was gone over at least twice as the team photographed each bit of evidence that was removed from the site. Several additional envelopes bearing Helle's name were located within the hour. They found numerous strands of blonde hair, bone fragments, fabrics, cloth, plastic items, wood chips, obviously, and many fragments of unidentified material. Every piece of material, no matter how small, would have to undergo scientific analysis at the State Police Forensic Laboratory in Meridian. I bet Professor Lee is so pissed off now.
He's like, this was back-breaking. Now it's spine-shattering.
Now this is soul-destroying. Soon detectives responded to the rental agency in the nearby area where Crafts rented the Woodchipper machine. They secured copies of the agreement, and luckily the exact machine was in the rear parking lot of the rental shop. It was towed over to the State Police Forensic Lab where it would be examined for additional evidence. For days, detectives and police diving teams searched the crime scene area at least 1 mile in both directions from the site. The Housatonic River was extremely cold and too cold for divers to stay in for very long. Police obtained permission to lower the water level by restricting the flow at the power dam upriver. Divers located a steel chain embedded in the muddy bottom of the river. The serial number had been filed off, but it seemed to have been in the water for only a short time. Days later, their labours were rewarded once again. One detective discovered a piece of human toe, and shortly after that, a fragment of finger was found, and then part of a tooth. In the end, they found 2,660 strands of blonde hair, 69 slivers of human bone, 5 droplets of human blood, 2 teeth, a truncated piece of human skull, 3 ounces of human tissue, a portion of human finger, 1 fingernail, 1 portion of toenail, and a partridge in a pear tree. Finally, they had found Helle Crafts. On January the 11th, an arrest warrant was issued in Newtown Court for Richard Crafts. It was a culmination of weeks of intensive and exhausting police work, and a bit of back-breaking work from Dr. Lee. That same night at about 9 p.m, a dozen Connecticut state troopers and detectives responded to 5 Newfield Lane to arrest Richard Crafts. They surrounded his ranch-style house and called his Crafts on the phone. He was ordered to come outside and surrender. "I'm tired, I'll take care of it in the morning," he responded.
Right, you're alright.
When police insisted he come out immediately, he became angry. "Don't call me back," he said, and hung up.
I love it. It's like, don't call me back.
After only what can be described as a nail-biting series of phone calls and promises of surrender which were never fulfilled, Crafts agreed to come outside. His children were asleep inside the house still. At 2:30 a.m, Crafts told cops over the phone, "I'll be out in 5 minutes." A short time later, a distraught and dishevelled Crafts emerged and surrendered to police.
What was he doing in that 5 minutes, I wonder? Just like, give me 5.
Having a coffee, reading the paper, smoking a cigarette, listening to the radio. After an arraignment in nearby Danbury Court, he was taken to Bridgeport Jail Facility to await further developments, and his bail was set at $750,000. In the meantime, investigators continued the grim search in the frigid waters of Lake Zor. The press descended upon the scene with TV cameras, microphones, huge lights, and a fleet of broadcast trucks. Before the day was over, the entire nation knew the story of the man who killed his wife by freezing her body and running it through a wood chipper. "It's like something out of Edgar Allan Poe," one Newtown resident told the reporters. "No, it's not, because they didn't have wood chippers in Poe's time."
Oh, they just, like, fucking strangled old men with dodgy eyes.
Yeah, so it's not like something out of Edgar Allan Poe at all, is it?
No.
You know, think about your fucking literature giant before you start making fucking analogies like that.
Yeah, it's more like something out of Fargo.
Yeah, but that one's released yet, was it?
No. Was this based on Fargo?
Probably. But police had worked out...
was Fargo based on this?
Probably. But police had worked out a probable scenario of how Crafts killed his wife. Since drops of Helle's blood were found in the bedroom, they assumed that she was bludgeoned at the foot of her bed during the early hours of November the 19th, perhaps when she was making the bed or changing the sheets. Police speculated that Crafts then carried his wife's body to the basement where he'd recently hooked up the new freezer. He placed her inside the freezer and then woke up Dawn Thomas, the old pair. He told her that they should all go to his sister's house in Westport because Newtown had suffered a power failure. Thomas asked about Hal. Richard said she would meet them at his sister's house. They drove to Westport and dropping the kids off, he immediately turned home. Police believe that sometime during the day he took Hal's body, by then frozen solid, to a secluded piece of property that he owned in Newtown. The editors believe that he used a Stihl chainsaw on her body to make several smaller parcels of her remains and returned them to the freezer. The next day, under the cover of darkness, he took these packages wrapped in plastic garbage bags to Lake Zor, where he ran them through a powerful woodchipper. Because of the time factors involved, police speculated that Joseph Hines saw the U-Haul and woodchipper along the road. Crafts had already finished his gruesome work. He was parked along the river because he was either running fresh wood through the chipper to clean it or was getting rid of evidence. What Crafts did not know that was the machine cast pieces of his wife into the river. Some parts didn't quite make it to the water. Small fragments of her bones and strands of hair, broken teeth and some mail which Hal had placed in her pocket on the day of her death fell to the ground. Due to the overwhelming amount of publicity on the case, the trial of Richard Crafts was moved to New London, Connecticut. The prosecution, led by State Attorney Walter Flanagan, not Walt Flanagan from Kevin Smith, put a virtual army of expert forensic witnesses on the stand. Dr. Henry Lee managed to overcome his backbreak, testified about the collection and analysis of thousands of pieces of evidence found in and around Lake Zor. Although only minute quantities of bone and tissue were found, there was still a wealth of information to be gleaned from each item. Dr. Lee was able to determine that 65 pieces of bone were cut with a heavy type cutting edge that produced a crushing and cutting force. He said the bone, human tissue and fibres and hair were all mixed together with wood chips and vegetable debris, but most importantly, the same machine cut it all. One of the most damaging pieces of evidence offered at the trial, and there were many, was the chainsaw recovered at the bottom of the Housatonic River during the search of December 30th, 1986. The item was a Stihl chainsaw with its serial number filed off. Technicians were able to find remnants of human tissue, blonde hair and a number of blue fibres in the teeth of the blade. The blue fibres matched the rug inside the Crafts home. The forensic lab at Meridian were able to restore the serial number even though it was heavily damaged. It matched a receipt belonging to Richard Crafts indicating they purchased the chainsaw on January the 9th, 1981, paying $644.95. But detectives didn't find the receipt during the search at his home. Keith Mayo gave the receipt to the police. When Helle Crafts first hired Mayo, she gave him a box of personal papers belonging to Richard. Ironically, the receipt was in those papers.
What?
However, it was forensic odontology analysis that was able to prove conclusively that Helle Crafts' remains were found at Lake Zor. During the search, 2 pieces of human teeth were retrieved from the water. One specimen, a tiny fragment of a tooth with a piece of jawbone still attached. Dr. Constantine P. Karazoulis, a forensic odontologist, testified that the tooth was removed from the mouth with traumatic force that sheared it off and took the bone with it. Further, he said that if a dentist had removed the tooth, the base of the tooth would be clean and absent of any jawbone residue. In my opinion, he said, this fracture occurred by a blunt force that fractured it to the centre line and took the jaw with it. The second tooth specimen was even more interesting, said Dr. Karazoulis. It was only part of a tooth that had a metal crown attached. After the search, he took several hundred x-rays of the recovered tooth from all possible angles. Using a series of 5 sets of x-rays that were taken of Helle Crafts' teeth between 1980 and 1986, he performed a painstaking comparison between the evidence and the images of Hal's teeth. Karazoulis said that he recovered the tooth at Lake Zor perfectly and it matched Hal's lower left bicuspid in the x-ray charts. He said that he was medically absolutely certain of the positive comparison. The prosecution backed up Dr. Zarakulsi's testimony with another odontologist, Dr. Lowell Levine. A forensic scientist from New York State Police, Levine had helped identify the remains of Dr. Joseph Mengele in 1985 and also confirmed the US conveyance of the body buried in Washington, D.C. Memorial was in fact President John F. Kennedy. He knows his shit. The case went to the jury on June the 23rd, and for the next 2 weeks, 9 men and 3 women tried to reach a verdict. But one man, whose stubbornness and illogical interpretations of the evidence exasperated the rest of the jury, he held out for a not guilty verdict. It was like reasoning with a child, one juror later told reporters. He had a real difficulty in retaining another juror. Janice Rosso was even more blunt. It wasn't chaos, it was hell, she said to the press. Although the other jurors tried in vain to convince the lone holdout in the end, he simply refused to participate any further. So, on July the 15th, 1988, after 100 witnesses were testified and 650 exhibits were presented in an epic 53-day trial, a mistrial had to be declared.
What was this guy's interpretation of events? I really want to know.
I think he was just sort of like, well, if a man wants to kill his wife, run through a woodchipper, I think he should be able to.
I like that he was I like to think he was just there getting all of his expenses paid for. Yeah. It's I don't want to go back to work. I've got a shit job.
I don't like work and I don't like my wife. However, a new trial was quickly agreed upon. Again, due to an avalanche of publicity, the venue was changed to Newark, Connecticut. On September the 7th, 1989, the second trial of Richard Crafts opened under a cloud of uncertainty. The second trial was a virtual replay of the first, the same witnesses, all the same things, and Crafts maintained a detached air about him, as if he was preoccupied with other matters. When the case finally went to jury, it took only 8 hours to reach a unanimous verdict. Crafts was found guilty beyond any question. 11 men and 1 woman felt the evidence easily supported a guilty verdict. Richard Crafts would not have asked for a more fair jury, said one juror. It's corny, but the system works.
As if they fucking followed it up with that.
As usual, Crafts showed no emotion when the verdict was announced. The totality of the evidence was overwhelming, another juror told the Danbury News Times. The verdict was announced on November 21st, 1989. In January 1990, Richard Crafts, unrepentant and defiant always, received a sentence of 99 years in a state prison. State Attorney Flanagan told the press afterwards, 23 of 24 people were convinced that he was guilty beyond a good question. That's a pretty good standard of proof, isn't it? And thus ends the ballad of Richard Crafts.
Jesus Christ.
So that was fun, wasn't it?
It was quite fun.
It had everything. Woodchippers, guns, backhoes. Dr. Henry Seeley.
Joseph Mengele.
I know, yeah. Chuck a bit of Mengele in there for good effect.
It's the spice of all dishes.
What, Nazi? The angel of death?
Yeah.
The butcher of Auschwitz. So that was quite fun. It was a funny case. He definitely wasn't the best at covering up his crimes.
No.
If you're going to put someone through a wood chipper, push it a bit nearer the river so it goes in there.
Yeah, maybe don't use a wood chipper.
And search the pockets and use a paper shredder.
Yeah.
That was lots of fun.
Is that the right word?
It was fun to get into.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in prison for 99 years. I want to go for a drink with that one juror.
Oh, me too.
I love it. I bet he's still there now going can you imagine you go in his house and there's fucking string attaching to all these bits of paper with post-it notes and pictures, and he's like, an innocent man sits in jail. I was the only person to stand up to it. The system failed him. I'll get him out. Just have pictures of fucking Mengele's teeth everywhere. And shit. His fucking wife and kids have left him. He's there with kerosene lamps everywhere.
I like to think that he immediately quit his job after they were like, get the fuck off this jury.
Yeah, dude, looks like get off the jury. He went back to work and they're like,
this is my holy grail now.
This is my last quest to get Rich Crafts off. That'd be great. So, guys, what do you think? Do you think he was innocent? 'Cause I don't think you can. But let us know if you do think he was. I hope you enjoyed that. But yeah, that was Richard Crafts. Remember, guys, you can see all of our videos on YouTube. If you are one of the 94% who aren't subscribed to us, who watch our videos, please hit that subscribe button. It helps us out phenomenally and also helps with the algorithm and gets us out to more people, and it'd be great for you to do so. Also, if you do wish to support us, you can do so on Patreon at www.patreon.com/enterthedark, or you can send us a tip on Cash App if you wish to at #enterthedark, all one word, no space between the pound sign and Enter the Dark. And also you can buy our wares at the Enter the Dark Sick merch marketplace thing website. There's t-shirts, bags, kids shirts, women's shirts, men's shirts, granny shirts. You can just buy a shirt and give it to your granny. But yeah, they're all there, and they'll all help us get these episodes out quicker, and also buy more equipment. Like, I really need a PC, so if anyone just wants to buy me a PC so it doesn't take 38 hours to render a video, that'd be great. But yeah, I've been Jan, he's been Les. We shall see you soon. Take care. Goodbye.